Hi everyone, I'm back and I have another beautiful piece that I'd like to show you. This is a round mini album. It's a lace mini album that I made entirely from recycled materials and scraps. Well, I guess you could say they are recycled materials. This is a recycled piece. So this is just an album that I made from leftovers, and it's going to be available in my Etsy probably within the next few days. So without further ado, I would like to show you. All right. So this is my Treasure Lace Mini album, and I made this one just kind of with the intent of, you know, some type of wedding, or, you know, cherished pictures from a wedding or something like that. It doesn't have to be, obviously, but that was just what was in my mind. So with this particular book, it's not completely done because I thought it would be great for the person to make it their own. And I think it's really gorgeous when you put pictures down on a nice background, and then around the edges of the picture you do a little bit of layering with maybe a few more touches of lace, flowers, or just little different things like that, just to kind of bring everything together. So here's the front, and as you can see, it's round. I don't know if I already said that, but it is, and the reason being is these are made from coasters, and I was at a thrift store or something like that, and there was this nice big bag full of coasters, and they said Bud Light or Miller Draft and all that kind of stuff. But I thought, well, for 99 cents, I could probably come up with something for those. So I covered them with paper, inked them up, and had the perfect base for these lovely rounded mini albums. So without further ado, let's get started on it. I already said that, didn't I? You guys, please be patient with me. I'm kind of tired today, and it's hot and whatever. Okay, so I started out here with this nice Tim Holtz label. He's got, let's see, there's this label, and then there's a squared label, and then there's the real big tag. Well, I made tons and tons of these labels. I thought I should use them up. So what I did was I cut this out of some scrap chipboard, painted it, and then put some white embossing powder on top of that. And then, I don't know if you can see, it's got this stencil glitter on top of it as well. Secured it down with some brads, and stamped the word treasure on a piece of paper, glued it onto the back of this, inked it on the inside, and then filled it in with some crackle glaze. Okay, and then after that, all I did was just lots of layering of lace, and I think altogether there's probably 3 different layers, just kind of layered on top of each other. I mean, look at this. I mean, every little piece just cut out all these little doodads. You know, here's a flower down here, and then there's another piece cut out and then layered on top of that, and so just lots of layering, about 3 layers worth of lace altogether. Okay, so there's the front, and I'd say the front is probably the most fancy just because it's the cover. And then on the ring, I've got all these lovely antique and vintage lace trims, and then there's a real sweet ribbon there. And so here's the first inside cover. It's a lovely vintage crocheted doily for the background, and I don't know if you can see underneath, there's purple. It's real pretty. Kind of a soft purple. And then so here's what I meant by the layering. So you could put a picture on this nice background here, and then after you put the picture down, what you could do is just layer kind of around the picture, and, you know, here and there around the picture, just to kind of, you know, bring it all together. Okay? And so here, this was just a, you know, a round piece of burlap, okay? And then on top of that, I just adhered these lace scraps, and it made this lovely little lace collage. Okay, and then the back of that is blank, and that's just for you to use your imagination, make it your own. Okay, and then on this one, we've got a lovely pink, mottled pink background, and then layered on that is this antique, kind of like a netting lace, if you will. And then we've got this lovely scrap that I used here for a pocket. Okay, and that's also antique lace. And then we've got this antique lace trim just around the edge. Over here, I've got this antique silk ribbon with more of the antique lace trim that I've turned into a rosette. And then up here is just a shard of lace that I've got for another accent, if you will. Okay, next page. This is pretty simple. Again, it's just a nice sweet pink background, and then we've got this antique lace layered on top of that, and then I have this vintage lace just around the edge. You could put a lovely picture inside here. You could do, after you put the picture in, you could do some more layering, or, you know, I don't know, make a pocket, whatever. Okay, on this side you have this sweet blue background, and I wish you could see the blue in person. It looks more like a cool Caribbean blue rather than the blue that's showing up in the camera, but it's very, very pretty. So over the blue, I've got a lovely layer of cheesecloth. Kind of gives it a misty kind of look to it. And then on top of that, I've just got more lace layering, and I think this probably has yet 3 layers of lace layering at the most there. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so these are all just cut out bits. And I want to say probably the majority of the lace that you see, like the flowers and things like this here, and then here on the front, they're from an old gunny sacks dress. It was a wedding dress that I think it was from like the late 60s or early 70s. And I would never tear apart an old dress like that, you guys, but this dress was really ravaged. It was ripped, and I mean, it was irreparable. But there was lots of beautiful lace and just bits that I painstakingly cut out. And I won't say painstakingly because I enjoyed it, but it took a long time. So that's what this is from, if you're wondering. Okay, so then I've got this sweet little piece right here, and I think that was just from a vintage stick pin that was already kind of broken, and I just clipped the rest of it off on the back and then just stuck it on there. Some lovely pearl accents, as you can see. Okay, and then there's no trim on this. I didn't put any trim on this side because the trim on the other side is wide enough, see? So it didn't really need to. So here's the other side. Once again, there's a blue background. I'm not certain if it's the same blue as the one before. I tried to use different colors. It might be, but okay. And then so we've got some antique lace for the background. Again, you could do another picture with some layering here. And then just around the edge, I've got this lovely vintage lace trim, which serves as a trim for this side as well. Okay, and then on this side, I have a lovely purple background with some antique needlepoint lace. I think that's antique. I'm not sure. That might just be vintage because the shape of the netting is not round. It's like a triangle shape. And I know they didn't have triangle netting back then. Or not triangle, but like a diamond shape, if you can see that. See the difference? This is like a rounded shape. And then that's... So I think this is just vintage, this one here, but vintage is good too, right? Okay, and then here's the back. Now this is antique lace here in the back, and then I've got this sweet vintage trim around that. Okay, so there's the back. And again, you can do all kinds of layering. But you know, part of the, I didn't want to cover up all of the antique lace. It was just so pretty. But, so let's just do a quick flip through real quick for you, okay? Okay, and there it is. Just a real sweet little thing. And it says treasure. So I think that whatever you put in here, you'll probably really treasure it. This is just a really sweet piece. And it makes a wonderful gift. It also makes a wonderful project. There's plenty of room to do a lot more in this. And yeah. So thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not really one for measuring everything, but if you like, I'll do it. I can't give an exact measure because a lot of the trim sticks out further. Okay, so let's just say 5.5 at the largest. Okay? All right, you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.